And then, so basically, if I turn on, just real quick, we'll just go through them super, super quick. This guy right here, basic PO permission, I automatically get 2 of the PO types. It's a live and it's a request, okay? Those are basically my 2 pieces that I get. If I turn on the special one, I get an internal build, which brings me up to 3, okay? If I turn on the special POs, and you can if you'd like, I actually get 2 more. I get special live and special request, okay? And those names are actually corp-wide settings, so if special request sounds like, hey, I really want this right now and it's urgent, and that doesn't work for you, you go change it, quote request, or price check, you know, like you can change that name to whatever you want. That's a corp-wide setting. The other one is actually done through the parts department, and you have to have the admin parts, which we will already have. I believe we've already turned it on, and we can check that, but that one actually gives you that update, which is basically like, say you're going through things and eventually you need to update your quantities. You either have shrinkage, somebody stole something, you dropped something on the floor, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There's already a built-in tool that allows you to update your quantities, but you have to have the parts admin to do that function. Okay? Any questions there?
No.
Okay, awesome. So just to review, I'm under system liabilities. We checked a couple things. Basic POs, internal build POs, special POs, and for you guys, let's go ahead and go purchase order admin. Okay? I'm going to scroll down and we're going to actually check under system reports. So I'm going to keep scrolling down just so we can kind of go through a couple of them. And we're just going to make sure that we actually have, okay, I'm actually going to go back up. We were down lower than that. So find a little jump link that says system reports. We're going to go up. We're going to just check to make sure we have that parts admin. It's a red one.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Another one that we're going to probably also want, and I know we're kind of jumping around here, but let's go up to system search. As soon as we start doing POs and parts, we're going to probably want these guys. So come down, and we're going to come down. We've already got part number. I'm going to skip barcode for right now. Oh, I already did PO. Great, great, perfect. That's all we were looking for. So somehow I want you to get to the bottom of the screen. Control End, find a bottom link, or scroll. One of the ways, get to the bottom of the page. I'm going to scroll. Edit payee. Click. So we just took a major sidestep. We were searching for a vendor and we said we were going to start a PO, and all of a sudden we got beep. You can't. Okay? We took a little micro sidestep. I probably added what? 4 permissions. I did basic POs, internal builds, special POs, and PO admin. Okay, I added 4, and I had already had the search one already pre-selected, even though I didn't even have a PO permission. Okay, at this point, I'm going to go back. I can either use my super back button and go right back to the payee vendor search, right here. I'm going to actually go to this one so that I can redo it again. Search. Boom. Okay, I want to make sure I didn't lose anybody there. Did I lose anybody when I went to my super back button? I just jumped back 4 steps instead of going back, 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 back. Okay? That just allowed me to jump way back. Basically what it is, I'm in a vendor payee search result, and I've searched by LOG. I'm looking for Logan, okay? If you're not there, we can get back there in a heartbeat. Would you rather me just start from the beginning?
Good.
Cheryl, you okay, or you want, where are you at?
I'm at the search page, not the results.
No problem. Go LOG vendor, so it's a
Okay.
vendor, LOG.
If you're going to do it there, you need to go to a vendor.
Vendor.
Then you can
Vendor,
do
that I
the other one you were on the page. So you can use the page search.
She's there.
He's on it, yeah.
Bada
So
bing.
are we all pretty much right here? Awesome. So eventually you get to the vendor. Whether you do it searching, going to the vendor page, there's tons of different ways. You get to the vendor and you say, okay, let's create a PO. Click. And what we're going to do is, because all of you have admin permissions now, I would like you guys to think of a small product that you would like to add in. Okay? If we don't have all of the pieces, that's okay. We first need to create the PO. We currently are at this stage. We don't even have this yet. We do know a vendor, and eventually it's going to end up being tied to a main. Okay? It's kind of quasi right now. It hasn't even really been connected. This is our first step. We're going to need a main PO to get started so that we have something that can hold it, and we're going to connect it to a vendor. So it's kind of in this quasi state right now. Okay? We search for a vendor, we send new PO. So the very first thing, if you want another help file that I would recommend, this is the interface for getting items in. I would recommend that you read this particular help file, okay? This looks like a big old long drop down. The reason is we're going to try to explain what some of these PO types are that we just talked about. So if you click on it, I see a bunch of CWs in there. That means I can change what these are called, okay? Some people don't like basic live. They might be like requisition or fulfilled order, or they might want some other word for it. But basically what we have is a basic live is vendor specific tied to inventory. A basic request is vendor specific, temporary order or quote, not tied to inventory, but may go later on. Okay, so that's how you kind of order things. And then your specials are not, it's mixed vendors, live, and mixed vendors request, if that makes sense. And then because we turned on the internal build, we also have that. And that's physically changing something. I got something and I want, that's like this. An internal PO could be, I got boxes of this, and then I dump it in. As soon as I change it and then I sell it differently, that's a build, okay? You're technically doing miniature manufacturing. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do basic live. Boom, we're just gonna keep it basic live. This is for loaded training. And in my PO, I'm gonna go ahead and say, I'm gonna use hot tamales, okay? But I would like you to come up with your own product, okay? And this notes field, this is more for kind of general. Don't get really detailed here. It only requires 3 characters to pass the validation, okay? So don't go nuts, but this might be like, bought some candy. And it could be, okay? I'm gonna do hot tamales. Okay, so I'm gonna say C-A-N-D-Y. So not even talking to that piece. I'm just setting up the main. I'm gonna come down, and often, so your POs usually have 2 different things. Either somebody already ordered and it shows up and you have a packing slip, all of a sudden I would know what the external number was or what the full amount was. Or if I'm ordering something, I may have 0 clues. Does that make sense? There's usually 2 different ways. I have physical paper and I know all this detail, or I'm going to make this up as I go. Okay? If we're going to make it up as we go, what I do is I don't even enter anything for a PO amount or an external, the invoice number that's external to our company. The next little piece, this is very important, right down here under the received. This right here, items are in my possession, or items are, yes, items are in my permission. Yes, I've got them, or no, I don't have them. That's basically how it goes. And there are certain times you kind of have to trick the system depending on what's going on for this particular stage. But for right now, I want to say, yes, I have these items, okay? I don't know how much they cost. I'm going to kind of fake it as I go. So I'm leaving it blank. If you have a piece of paper in front of you, you have the documentation. It says, you got X number of widgets for 50 bucks. So you're going to type in 50 bucks, okay? And you might even have a number of what their either statement number from them.
So we can do a PO without an amount.
Absolutely. Guess what? Eventually what it does is it says, hey, if I don't have an amount, I'll go 0. It's the exact same thing as putting a goose egg in there. And what ends up happening is similar to that little thing. You may be disconnected for a small little bit. So the main is saying, I'm 0. He must be working, or he's going to build it, or he doesn't even know. And eventually what we do is at the end, we come back and we tie the whole thing up. Like once we're done, we're like, oh yeah, I've ordered everything that I want. Okay, the total comes to this amount. I would then go back to the main PO and just update that amount, and it's happy. Okay, it's like, oh, sweet. I was hoping somebody would come back to me, but it literally, it leaves it. It almost drops it like that in a way until you come back and touch it. Okay, so I'm going to just go like this. Just to review, I selected a vendor. I know I'm in add mode. It says new at the top. It says add at the bottom. Basic live. The date's cool. The location's cool. Quick little note coming down. Yes, I've got them in my possession. Add the PO. Go ahead and click it. Okay, I got number 4. So it means some of the other people beat me because we just barely turned these permissions on. Okay, so all I did at this point, I'm now at this level. I physically have something I can start stacking something on, okay? I've got a main. Guess what's in my main? I've got an ID number, 4. I've got an amount. It's currently saying, it's prompting me a little bit here, no line items. I've got some dates. It's already starting to age. Who created it? Who received me? Which location am I tied to? Which vendor am I tied to? I have got this going on right this minute. If I stop and leave, guess what? It's like, Okay, well, you got a number, but I don't have anything, and I'm not connecting anything. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
We're at this stage right now. Okay, perfect. So, here's where we get to do the little side trip, okay? This is fun. This is fun. If the item already exists, I'm going to switch back to this little thing right here, okay? If I already have it and it's named and in the system, a PO, all it does is go like this. Jam some more in there, okay? Jam some more in there. If this doesn't exist and I need that, it has to do another little side trip out and says, oh, I need to create a tube. I need to create a container for this thing, okay? So when we're first starting, these things don't exist. I guarantee you, if I were to do a search in my system right now, I do not have hot tamales in there, okay? I need to create a tube so I can start jamming some incoming things and then eventually some outgoing things. If you're doing the manufacturing, check this out. I jam raw products in, I take raw products out, and they come back into a different tube, and it comes out as a different product, okay? That's an internal build system if you're doing an internal build. Does that make a little bit of sense that way? Okay, think of a part as a tube. It's very important. So I'm going to come back here to my PO. Just to orient you to the page, I have some main. Currently it says PO line items. It's expecting, hey, we're going to be dealing with some line items. Let's start adding some stuff. I have a search field at the top. I have my main information. I have 0 line items currently, and I have a ton of search information at the bottom. If I already know physical things, I can use the physical form at the bottom. We highly recommend that you use either this search form or this search form. Just search for it. Check it out. I'm going to physically write in the word hot tamales. H-O-T-T. And is there a space? Is that a space between that? Probably is, huh? Hot space tamales. Okay, if you're doing a part number, this is just a recommendation, and I'm going to just kind of fly off for just a quick second. If you do a part number, I would highly recommend that you get rid of spaces, special characters. If you need a space, I would use a dash or an underscore or something like that. But these things are highly searchable. So if you're starting to put in quotes and pound signs and all this other funky stuff, sometimes you lose it, okay? I would say keep it really simple, run it together, mix your case, whatever you need to do, but kind of keep it simple. So if I'm going to do hot tamales, I'm going to actually go like this, hot underscore T-O-M-A-L-E-S, okay? If you want to type the whole thing out, you could, or you could even just go like this, hot tea, what have I got? Oh, I don't have
But
it.
you didn't put a gap, you put an under.
I put an underscore, which is a shift minus.
Okay.
That's a little underscore type thing. Okay, so currently, just what I searched for, it didn't find anything under hot tea. If it did, it would actually prompt me, hey, do you want to add some of these? Like it already knows that that tube exists, okay? Right now, it's saying, I can't find that even tube. Did you make a mistake? Do you want to search again, or what do you want to do? No, I want to add this. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Add New Part Number. Once again, I see a CW, so that means this button's going to probably change. So for instance, Cheryl's, yours would say Add New Product, okay? Once you actually change that. So I'm going to go click. I just went like this. Literally, we're going like this. Vendor, PO, search for line. Oh, I didn't have it. We take a side trip, okay? We're taking a side trip. We have to set up that tube or the piece of part where we can start stuffing in incoming and outcoming values. We need the tube, okay? So I'm now on the page. I'm going to say I have 2 of these things. Okay. As soon as I said I have 2 of these, it depends on how I want to sell it, okay? What happens here is it's a thing called units of measurement, okay? The system is not smart enough at all to say, if I get 2 boxes and then I sell them out different, say I sell them out as eaches or pounds, it has no clue between that relationship, okay? So right here, as soon as we say quantity, you have to start thinking, how am I pulling this in? How am I selling it? What's the most common denominator? Okay, I don't know if that makes sense, but I would recommend that we pull it in under, if I'm going to sell this thing by pounds, then I probably want to pull it in pounds. And I may even have to trick the system in a way to submit it to the vendor as, hey, I want X number of cases, but I'm going to convert it to pounds. And there's some other ways that we can do this. For the first one, I'm actually going to leave my quantity as 0 right now. I'm not even going to mess with this right this second. I'm going to enter my item into the system. And then I'm going to tweak it a little bit later on, okay? I'm going to leave it at 0, but please note, this it looks like a teeny little field. Hey, what's your quantity? But you have to realize the system has no idea you're going to chuck the cotton. You got to think, how am I getting it? How am I going to present it? And how am I going to sell it? And you got to figure out that common denominator. That way your math works out. Okay? And it's very important. Otherwise you have 2 in and 75 out, and you're like, what? Like, it has no clue that there was a unit of measurement that may have changed. Yes?
So with your hot tamales, you're going to sell it by the pound. So even though you've got a case in, you're going to figure out how many pounds.
Correct. And so I don't want to do it here. There's actually a tool that allows me to do some conversions, okay? And it's just local conversions to the system. It's not like, hey, I automatically know that your gaggle means X number of chickens or whatever, okay? But I'm going to purposely write the second. I'm like, you know what? I'm trying to create a tube. I'll populate this tube in a second. I'm going to create the tube for hot tamales. I'm not even going to worry about the quantity. Even if I'm just going to use this as a setup PO, it's going to eventually create that tube, and then I'm going to deal with it.
But you can, in there, because I've seen a number, you can
Absolutely.
put in pounds.
Okay, so here's the thing. It has no clue. It doesn't know what I'm really doing. Later on, in edit parts, you're going to get into unit of measurement a little bit lower
So
here.
it would be best to just leave this blank.
For right this minute, because we're just kind of I'm creating a generic item, okay? I am not going to sell it like that. I'm going to potentially sell it different. I'm going to be like, oh, you know what? I'm going to deal with this in a minute. I'm going to let it purposely disconnect, and then we'll come back, okay? I'm going to go 0. I'm going to come down here. This is not what I want. I don't want a hot tea. That happened to be what I searched for. I'm going to finish it up. And you may already have the thing. This next little piece of the puzzle is pretty cool. Are we tracking physical quantities, or is it a special thing like a labor? So for instance, Cheryl, you said you were going to have some herbs and some tinctures and some stuff like this. Well, guess what? That's physical quantities, okay?
The class.
The class, click on that just so you can see what the link, what it does, okay? Hey, don't monitor your quantities, I'm unlimited, okay? So you could potentially sell unlimited classes. You don't want to have to stock them in and then sell them out, okay?
Right.
Oh man, I better go add some more classes so I can sell them. That's unlimited, okay? So you would want to do that. The important piece is, this little thing right here, what it does is an unlimited usually has a 0 cost, and a physical has a cost, and it starts tracking itself all the way out to the balance sheet as far as what is my value, okay? Because if I physically have something, I then need to track it through that tube. What's in, what's out, what's in, what's out. That's physical quantities. If I have unlimited, I put in a 0, and I could potentially pull out 50 million, and it's totally happy, okay? Because it runs through that unlimited tube rather than a strict quantity tube. If that, think of those tubes. I think it helps. But okay, I'm going to say monitor quantities in and out. Okay, I'm going to now say category, and for right now we haven't added them, so I'm just going to say basic inventory. But if you do this thing on paper, which when we get back from lunch, we're going to do it on paper, and I'm going to have you guys actually figure out. You're going to physically add some of this, some of this, some of this, some of this, and some classes and some consultation, okay? So you're going to figure out which categories. Matter of fact, can you read off your categories? And this is kind of like an herbal medicine type industry.
Right, so I have bottles and containers, preparations that I make, bulk herbs, preparations that I'm buying that are already made that I'm reselling, essential oils, consultation, and classes.
Awesome. You're going to have a huge mix. That scenario, you have raw goods, they're just standard retail. You have mix and blend, you're going to be building. You're doing miniature manufacturing as soon as you're starting to do that, okay?
Okay.
And you're going to have some unlimited parts. Hey, consulting. Hey, lessons. Hey, you're going to have all of those just in your teeny little model. It's awesome, okay? That's perfect. So what that is she did it on paper, and it's dealing with this little thing right here, the category, okay? So eventually you want to kind of classify these things. What it does is it helps you to search later on. So if somebody comes to you and says, hey, I want some bottles, you go like this, oh, go to the bottles section. You're virtually breaking up the parts section into those little tubes. Imagine stacking it in different rows or putting them in different places. All of my bottles are here, all of my classes are here, all of my other stuff is here. So you're physically setting up tubes where you're going to be putting these things, okay? You have to think of a part as a placeholder. And it's literally the ins and the outs that ends up creating what it does, but we have to create these tubes. Okay? Well, perfect, that's great. So on mine, I'm going to just put hot tamales. It's almost going to be the same. The only difference is I can use spaces, special characters, whatever I want here. Hot T-A-M-A-L-E-S. Can you tell I'm not a very good speller?
Looks good.
So mine is going to have a description. I can put some special characters here. This is where you put your special characters, okay? Hot tamales. But my part number, I'm kind of being limited a little bit as far as what's going on. Okay, we're going to scroll down. Now this is a secondary lookup field. You can totally skip it. It's not required. But say I had another a nickname, or I had another vendor that actually sells this thing, and I might want to use their little number here or whatever. Like, you can add. It's just a secondary lookup. Okay. The part search. You know how we talk about all things being live and searchable? When we end up searching parts, we can search the ID number, the part number, the description, the lookup field, the barcode, and it's all from one little search, okay? So if you're like, oh, I can't remember all of the pieces, we help you out when it comes to parts. Like if you can remember any piece of the description, the part number, you know what, I remember I had an X20 on the part number. You go X20, and it'll be like, no, oh, I found it in the part number. So it's built in. We honestly do, it's probably, we advertise it as a 4-way search. It's probably actually a little bit bigger than that, but think of it at least a 4-way search. The part number, the reference number, which is the secondary lookup if you want it, the description, and the barcode. Those are the ones we advertise. There's actually a couple other ones, but we advertise it as a 4-way search, okay? Built in. Anytime you search a part, you're going to be able to, like right here, I could even search for smiley face, okay? And it would find my hot tamales for me, okay? Like, it's literally that type of a deal. Okay, we're going to come down. I'm going to skip the reference number. My cost. Now, if I physically have something in front of me, it really helps. Or if I physically know. If I don't, right now I'm just going to go 0 because I really don't even know. Okay? You can come back and edit this. What we're trying to do is set up that container. What the container is actually going to hold will be dictated a little bit later on. But I just need the container right now. Okay? Sell price. I may not even know that right now. I'm just going to put 0 and use the sell price only. Unit of measurement, I'm going to eventually be doing this in pounds. So for me, I'm going to sell it by the pound. Or maybe I want to do it by the ounce, depending on if I want to do a smaller. Okay. What you have to do is you have to figure out what's your most common denominator. How am I going to buy it? How am I going to sell it? What is my common denominator? And what kind of possible math do I need the system to help me do? It does not remember. If you say, oh, I'm going to enter it here and here, they have to match, okay? Your incoming and your outgoing need to be similar. And
So I can buy it by the pound, but here I can sell it by the ounce, and that's a match.
okay, as soon as we're creating the tube, if I put pound, I need to bring it in by the pound.
Okay.
I need to sell it by the pound, okay? If I put ounce, I need to bring it in by the ounce and then sell it by the ounce, okay? Figure out what your least common denominator is, very important. So maybe, I originally clicked pound. I think I'm actually going to change it to ounces to tell you the truth, okay? Because then I can do a reverse calculation back up. It's a slightly smaller scale. So I'm going to switch on ounces. Most normal things, if you have a standard item, say I was just going to sell this by itself, this is called an each. This is an each, okay? You can also leave this blank if you're like, I don't know, or you can create your own. Like, we're not going to go in there right this second, but you can create a super pack, you know? A super pack might have 27 instead of 24. But like, you can create your own units of measurement. But get it as small as you can from here on forward. I'm going to say taxable. I'm not going to worry about weight or a bin number or a barcode. Here's a cool feature right here. If the thing has a barcode on it and I'm physically selling an item, I may not even have to do anything other than put a little price tag on it, okay? I can use this barcode. If you want Adilas to generate a barcode, you either need to enter your own and or you can create a little thing that says the keyword auto. If you use auto, what it does is it automatically assigns a barcode number that you can use, but you don't have to enter it. And then it'll be specific just to that item. Specific just to that item. Just for kicks and giggles, you don't have to do this, but I'm going to go ahead and put in auto. And I'm going to leave the RFID tag, and I can say part number, add part number. Click. So now I automatically back up my PO, okay? So just really quick, I'm gonna go here to the map, just so we can kind of show you what just happened. We created a PO, boom, we created the PO. We checked to see if it was there. It wasn't there, so we stayed in this environment for a microsecond. We created the tube, and we jumped right back to the PO so we can now add some line items. Does that make sense how we kind of did that little process? Awesome. So I'm going to come back. I'm now at my PO. I have a line item, and I have hot tamales. My hot tamale tube is now set up in the system. Watch this right here. If I come up here and I say part number, and I search by my funny smiley face or whatever, oh, hot tamales, quantity 0. It's in ounces.
Oh, it came through in your description too.
Okay, yeah, that's my description. My part number is way over there, hot_tamales. Okay, my new barcode, it happened to assign an automatic barcode to that thing. So watch this. If I wanted to run the barcode, I can click on view my customer mode of this thing. Here's my barcode generator. I can click on this. Boop, there's my little tag.
Wow.
Okay, so now I didn't have a price to it, but it has the part number, it has who the vendor is, it has the little barcode, and I can print out a little label. If I want to tweak it, I could be like, okay, hide that piece, and do this. Or if I really wanted to tweak it out, watch this. Okay, show the advanced settings for this, and I actually want to sell this for $400. This is a custom hot tamales. This is very custom. And I also wanted to do this, Maybe I really like that smiley face. And I go like this, it'll regenerate my barcode according to what I told it to do. If I switch to the description, now I have a custom thing. Like, you can tweak it and modify some different things really quick. This is called the barcode generator.
And then you just buy a barcode thing and then it'll just...
Okay, a barcode printer, check this out. And this is especially for most small, relatively small places. $100 to $150 will get you a barcode printer if you choose to use it. Guess what? I can actually search Adilas. I don't even have to ever use a barcode. We have places that do, they're huge. They have big stuff, and the people are so fast, but they're typists, and they do this and this. Do you know what a barcode does? You go like this. Here's a physical barcode, and it has a big old long number. This is 12 digits. So what a barcode does, it's a human interface device, very similar to how I was talking about a little card reader. What the barcode reader does is it's hooked to the computer. If I have the thing set on either part number or barcode, which we didn't even turn that on as our option, but we could. If I go like this, and I go, ding, the little laser comes out, it reads the barcode, and it translates that into numbers. That's the exact same thing as having a typist go like this, tick, 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 enter. Like, this one moves that, tick, is the exact same thing as a fast typist and enter, okay? So that's how easy we use a barcode. It basically says, oh, I'm already built into the four-way search, no problem. Like, it's we don't really even, we say that we do barcoding. All we do is we're like, hey, it's already built into the search, and you just zap it, and it's as if you're a fast typist. But that's how you do it. It's called a human interface device. Bleep. You just typed 12 characters, or however long your thing was, and hit enter. That's all that bleep does. That's what a barcode reader does. You can get other barcode readers that are super fancy and do this and this and this, but guess what? Adilas doesn't really know what those things are. All it does is it helps you to speed up some searches, and will help you generate whatever sort of labels you want. If you want just description labels, you can get description labels. If you want price, watch this. I'm going to go back to the main view the current part number detail page. Watch this. Here's a description label automatically. Okay, it just does the description. If I hit back, here's an alternate price label automatically. Like if I had certain things, it's automatically pulling into this little label generator. If I want to tweak it out and I don't like that big 000 there, it's so easy to go like this. 10, 0.25, whatever, and I hit submit. As soon as it comes back, just in a second, boom, I now can print off the label like this. I hit print, and then it would ask me to select which printer. So you could have a receipt printer and a label printer and a full page printer. Like if you wanted to, you could just add on whatever options you want. You're like label printer, and then say how many copies. And depending on what's being passed in from your PO, it'll actually increment that. So say I actually had it on the PO side and it said 50, well, it'll automatically put 50 there. Well, what happens is because it's web versus software, software says, I'm local to the system and I can control your printer. However, the web, we don't want to do that. And it's actually illegal in some ways, because imagine something like this. If you had an application and you clicked on a button and I automatically was able to harness your printer, I could say, oh, show me what you have for coupons. Like, they make a rule, and this is web, okay? We can't even really dictate. There are some ways we can micro tweak around this, but we're like, okay, cool, that's web, we'll just play this way. What it is we send it back to you with the number. Hey, you're gonna need 50 of these. And when you select your label printer, there's a little thing on there. How many copies of this label would you want? And you just go, I need 50. Go. Zzz, 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 zzz. And it'll just thermal transfer. You guys know what thermal transfer is? You get these special little stickers that are sensitive to heat. So you're actually not even using ink. Okay? So as you do it, it goes through this little thing and it basically, by heat, creates the label. So you're not even, you can use them over and over and over and over and over again. You're not actually running out of ink. You get done, you have a cute little sticker and you peel it on. There's multiple different sizes of barcodes that you can do. Currently, there's a bunch of them, depending on what size labels you want. And there are some technical specs. Once again, if you like help files, read this help file.
Okay, let me just ask you this.
Yes?
So what if I wanted, instead of doing it through a barcode printer, what if I wanted it through my regular printer to do Avery labels? Could I do this and just hook it to my print, my...
Currently, what I would recommend you do if you were doing Avery labels is get your template set up in Avery labels and then go, you're going to have to do a little copying and pasting. It's currently not set up to do that type of thing. This is set up to do a label at a time in either a vertical feed or a horizontal feed, which means they're stacked like this or this. Are they going to come out this way or are they going to come out this way? Okay. Say I wanted 2. Is it going to come out this way or is it going to come out 1, 2? And we allow for some different things out. If you wanted to do Avery labels, I would say use the Avery labels system, okay, and then copy and paste some stuff across and whatever. And that's another way you can do it. Labels are not required. Like, you can literally have stuff right here and it doesn't have to have anything on it. If I can find it and I can search it and I'm okay with that, that's all Adilas requires. If you would like to go to the next level, it's available.